distinguished members of the private sector, members of the diplomatic community, members of cabinet, members of parliament, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great honor and privilege to share with you this evening some brief comments on the journey ahead, the plans and programs that we envision as necessary in taking our country forward. I would like to thank the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association for the kind invitation to me to address this, their 25th annual presentation of awards ceremony. Today, we are celebrating more than the achievements of awardees. We are also, by extension, paying tribute to the resilient spirit of our entrepreneurs in the manufacturing and services sector. Manufacturing and services have stood the test of time. There was a period in our country's history when these sectors were plagued by daily power outage, lack of raw materials and other inputs, and extreme difficulties in obtaining foreign currency. This led to a contraction of manufacturing and thwarted the development of the services sector. Yet, despite these difficulties, the captains of industry and commerce persevered. They knew that the longest rope must have an end. The dark ages for the manufacturing services ended, and with it came the birth of brighter and better times. Manufacturing and services, long in the economic doldrums, rebounded. I say this not simply to revisit the past, but as a reminder that strong people and resilient sector outlast difficult times. This has been a difficult year for the entire world. Actually, it has been the most difficult year in the past 3 decades. The pandemic has led to business contraction and the loss of jobs, but this too shall pass. I am supremely confident that our economy will rebound and emerge stronger and more robust in the new year and beyond. I applaud our local manufacturers and service providers. The commitment to nation building is unquestionable. I assure them that my government is fashioning a transformative economic agenda that will allow them to continue to stake their claim to national development. The local entrepreneurial class has an instinct for seizing opportunities. They have shown us how to survive in difficult times, and they have demonstrated the acumen to thrive when the tide of fortune turns for the better. The captains of enterprise possess a sixth sense of better times ahead. Those times are upon us. Development will leapfrog over the next decade. Our manufacturers and service providers will be integral in the writing of this glorious chapter in our country's history. This afternoon, I want to share with you my government's plans to boost manufacturing and services and for the emergence of the new economy. Economic transformation is unfolding. Oil production will provide the resources to accelerate this process. However, economic transformation did not commence with the discovery of oil or the startup of oil production in December 2019. Economic transformation preceded these developments. We were realigning our economy many decades prior. We were protecting our primary sectors whilst catalyzing services and manufacturing. Prior to 2015, we were investing in economic modernization and providing incentives for the restructuring of the economy and the stimulation of manufacturing and services. We laid a solid foundation for economic takeoff. And today, despite the slippages, we are about to reap the rewards of the efforts we made to retool manufacturing and to stimulate and diversify services. Economic transformation will intensify over the next 10 years. My present mandate is for 5 years, but I'm thinking well ahead of those 5 years. The plans which are being implemented encompasses economic transformation in 5 foundational areas. First, will be higher levels of and sustained economic growth. Second will be the modernization of the primary sectors: agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and mining. And I want to assure our Guyanese brothers and sisters that whilst a lot of attention has been and is being placed on oil and gas, over the last 3 months, we have seen remarkable interest, transformative interest in agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and mining. And you will see the results of these interests next year. We have been trying greatly to integrate the local private sector with multinationals, with large-scale investors. And I'm proud to say to you that in the coming year, we'll all be happy at what will unfold. The level of collaboration, the level of integration, and the investments that will be made. Third, will be the installation of transformational infrastructure, including for the support of manufacturing and services. Fourth, will be the rebalancing of the economy to boost value-added production. And fifth, will be improving efficiency, encouraging innovation, and ensuring greater competitiveness. But above all of this will be our ability to service the needs of the new economy, will be our ability to have the right mix of human resources, human potential to fuel the growth and development that will take place. It is for this reason that we are realigning the educational output with economic requirement. And you will see the unfolding of 20,000 scholarships to ensure we build the capacity right here at home to take the opportunities that are coming our way. I assure you that we have commenced discussion on having a world-class, world-rated oil and gas institute and training center right here in Guyana, and we will achieve it. We must achieve it. This will not only provide training for Guyanese, but for human resources in the oil and gas sector from across the region. Guyana's economy is expected to register and sustain expansion over the next 10 years. Much of this growth will be attributed to oil production. However, we are readjusting the economy to ensure that growth is spread across all sectors and not only oil and gas. Economic growth has traditionally been associated with an expansion of business activity. However, we must avoid becoming too dependent on imports. And this is why our policies are geared towards ensuring that the resources derived from growth are deployed in part to buttress local manufacturing and services. And I want to say to the President of the Guyana Manufacturing and Services Association that your engagement with CARICOM must be bold. It is time we break down the barriers to trade. It is time we stake our place, and whilst we have the capacity and will invest on food security, private sector needs to push hard on all the barriers that prevent our goods and services from entering a free market, a open market, a unified market in CARICOM. This is not only a duty for the government, this is a responsibility for the private sector. The private sector and the Manufacturing Association must see themselves as integral. They have an integral role to play, an integral part to play, not a complaining role or a complaining part. It is for this reason that we are involving the private sector in every aspect of development. A leader in the private sector led the local content dialogue. On every single board, the private sector is involved. But the private sector must be bold enough to recognize where there are challenges, where there are shortcomings. We too have to understand that if we are to benefit from the opportunities that will come, we have to change our mode of doing business. We have to come together. You have to form consortiums. The family approach to business will fast disappear with the scale of opportunities that will come. And the only way we can benefit from the scale of opportunities that will come is if we understand that we have to work together. We have to work together to improve our competitiveness. We have to work together to improve our competitive strength. And we have to work together to increase our market share, not only in Guyana, but first of all, in CARICOM and then beyond. Only today, our technical team, led by the ministers, were renegotiating the partial scope agreement with Brazil to have greater quotas for Guyanese goods, to have more access, and to expand the products that have access. The economy's expansion will open the floodgates to business opportunities. It will also enlarge our fiscal space to better address deficiencies in our productive sectors. As part of this exercise, we will promote policies to expand, strengthen, and diversify manufacturing services. Manufacturing and services will become a mainstay of the new economy. However, we are not neglecting the traditional sectors. Despite the problems which confront these sectors, they still collectively continue to be a lifeline for tens of thousands of Guyanese. Agriculture, fisheries, forestry, and mining account for 15.5% of the total employed population. Sugar, rice, bauxite, gold, timber earned US $1.3 billion in export in 2019. Agriculture remains the stronghold of local food security. The traditional sectors are a vital market for the manufacturing and services. It therefore makes good economic sense to maintain these sectors and to modernize them so that they make an even greater contribution to national output, and in the case of sugar, rice, and timber, to value-added production. I want to bring you up to date with what we are doing here also. Before the end of this year, we plan on announcing a Wales Development Authority. The Wales Development Authority will be tasked with the development of not only agriculture, but agro-industry processing facilities, manufacturing, industrial development, and this facility will see special incentives, tax incentives, fiscal incentives, develop so that we can attract investment in the Wales Development Authority. We have many proposals coming our way. The Gas to Shore project goes beyond cheaper energy. It is about creating new opportunities for an expanding expanded economy, more jobs, better livelihood, and higher levels of income. In addition to this, you will see the infrastructure landscape changing drastically in the next year. And that infrastructure landscape change is linked directly to the opening up of new economic opportunities, opening up of new lands, creating new areas, new growth poles. These are the things that would mark 2021 and beyond. A construction boom is in the making, to the extent that with only the implementation of an emergency budget, we are already out of key input material. We have to correct this, and we are working on correcting this. This upsurge in construction will mainly be propelled by 7 main areas of investment: oil and gas, the housing drive, the construction of at least 5 internationally branded hotels, the development of a shore-based gas facility, the modernization of the country's transportation network, the development of the world-class ICT sector, and government plans to guarantee energy security and affordability. In addition to this, of course, we are in discussion with Brazil and Suriname on the new deepwater harbor and the road link to Brazil, the development of an energy corridor, finding ways in which Guyana and Suriname will find synergies in moving forward. And of course, Brazil will be a key part of this. These are the bold initiatives that are already on the table to drive the transformation, to drive the change that is so necessary to create wealth and grow and expand our economy. The oil and gas sector will continue to expand and create opportunities for the manufacturing and services sector. Liza 1, Liza 2, and Payara represents an estimated investment of US $20 billion, an unprecedented level of investment in our country's history. And let me be very clear. We have already initiated discussions with developers in understanding the full needs for the oil and gas sector, servicing the oil and gas sector. And together, we have to make the right investment and the necessary investment to bring as much business to the shores of Guyana that are connected to the oil and gas sector. That is very important in creating wealth and creating opportunity. And the private sector must play an important role in this. The manufacturing association must play an important role in this. We will complete the East Coast Demerara Highway, the resurfacing of the East Coast Railway embankment from Sheriff Street to Enmore, and the remodeling of the Linden to Lethem Highway in order to complete the section between Linden and Mabour Hill. We're establishing a road link between Ogle and Diamond. A 4-lane highway will be developed between Georgetown and Timeri, and a road link will be constructed between Parika and Rockstone. This is another 4-lane. These are the programs we are targeting. Massive and transformational projects that are linked heavily to national development, that are linked heavily to transformation. A bridge will be constructed across the Demerara River and will be completed long before 2023. Some 50,000 house lots will be distributed over the next 5 years, spawning a massive home construction boom. For a matter of fact, we have initiated discussions on having a new area, a secondary city, developed. We're exploring this opportunity along the new 4-lane highway. because we're already seeing the pressure on the city itself, pushing residential occupation further on the outskirts. As development continues and expansion continues, you will see more of this, and we have to be prepared for it, and we are ensuring we put the planning perspective to facilitate this growth and development. As far as possible, we would seek private sector investment in providing these services. We will seek private sector input. It is the business of the private sector to generate business and create business opportunity. It is the business of the government to facilitate that creation and the creation of wealth. So whilst the government creates the enabling environment to facilitate the growth, the private sector must be proactive in going after the opportunities. Over the medium term, we'll be expanding economic opportunities through economic integration with our neighbors. We are working with the Republic of Suriname to bridge the Quarantine River. We'll establish export processing and duty-free zones near our borders. A circuit of industrial estates and ICT parks will be created across the country. The dredging of the Demerara River and the construction of an all-weather road link to Brazil will lay the groundwork for Guyana to become a major hemispheric economic hub. We are seeking investors to develop an energy mix in order to generate an additional 400 megawatt of installed capacity. The shore-to-base natural gas project, the reactivation of the Milas Falls hydroelectric project, the intensification of rural electrification, and the development of solar farms form part of the raft of energy project, which will contribute to greater energy efficiency and security, whilst bringing down the cost of energy substantially. The goal is to make energy our main competitive advantage in manufacturing and services. That is the goal. Added with our human resource capacity, we can be unbeatable. We can be unbeatable. We have to be bold in thinking. We have to be innovative. Do not doubt our ability to win. Do not doubt our ability to be ahead of the competition. Our competition is not with ourselves. Our competition is to be ahead of the game. And together, we have to build the infrastructure, build the vision. And all of us, whether you like the government or you don't like the government, you have to love Guyana. And in loving Guyana, you have to embrace the concept of transformation in moving the country forward. This is not a political agenda. This is an agenda for the best that we can be. An agenda for the future of Guyana, the children of tomorrow. It's not an agenda that should be kicked around as a political toy. It's an agenda that seeks to outline clearly and definitively where our country is going and what all of us have to do in taking our country forward. As we grow, our economy will modernize. Our traditional sector will transform. And we have to be mindful of pitfalls. We may not be 100% correct all the time. There will be mistakes along the way. But together, we have to deal with those challenges. Together, we have to mitigate against those pitfalls. But we cannot let perceived pitfalls be a hindrance to the journey ahead. Cannot be. Cannot be. And will not allow to be. In order to reduce this vulnerability, We are rebalancing the economy to strengthen manufacturing and services and to catalyze new poles of economic growth. Information communication technology, tourism, non-traditional agriculture have been intensified as some of the emerging sectors. Just on a side note, you did not give me a time frame, so I'm taking full advantage of that slip from the Manufacturing Association. We have already begun to prime the development of ICT. The liberalization of the country's telecommunications sector has resulted in increased investors' interest. The removal of VAT on data further help the competitive advantage of this sector. I'm very pleased to say that with engagement with Qualfund, we have been able to get a new investment in Tushan, another one of the promise we made, where that they're going to employ 120 persons in a new call center in Tushan. That is additional household income for 120 more families. Every time we add to household income, we are stepping those families more and more outside the reach of poverty. We are giving them more opportunities. And this is what we want to do. A robust tourism industry is being developed. Guyana will become a major destination for conference and convention tourism. As such, we intend to attract new internationally branded hotels. We will also improve the country's tourism product, particularly adventure, eco, heritage, and sports tourism. A hospitality institute will be constructed to harness the human resources needed for a world-class tourism industry. I want to assure members of the tourism sector that we are going to roll out a menu of measures that will improve your competitiveness, enhance your marketing, and break through emerging markets. In this year's budget, we announced the removal of VAT on hinterland travel, a measure which will boost sustainable tourism. Non-traditional agriculture will also be prioritized. Guyana spends as much as $25 million each year on the importation of corn and soya. We shall be moving aggressively into developing farms for the production of these crops so as to reduce their importation and to further diversify the agricultural sector. Small businesses are vital to sustainable development and growth. In this year's budget, we have offered support for small businesses to the sum of $100 million through the development of a small business development fund, which will provide loans and grants to small-scale entrepreneurs. Government is also catalyzing the small business sector by establishing business incubators at industrial estates at Belvedere and Lethem. A National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Council will be established to promote entrepreneurship and innovation, particularly for small businesses. And I want to assure Sham that the National Competitiveness Council will be resuscitated and the private sector will be playing a key role. However, increasing growth and diversifying the economy alone do not guarantee prosperity. The key to success is competitiveness. The small size of our country's internal market means that Guyana's economy can only grow to the extent that it become more export-oriented. And in order to become a global player, Guyana's goods and services must become more competitive. The high cost of energy has been a major challenge and constraint to the competitiveness of local manufacturing. We will fix this problem. In this year's emergency budget, we have taken steps to enhance the competitiveness of local business. We have removed VAT on electricity, water, exports, and on machinery for the agricultural, forestry, and mining sectors. Ensuring growth, modernizing the traditional sectors, investing in transformational infrastructure, accelerating economic diversification, and enhancing national competitiveness are part of our roadmap towards creating the new economy. Manufacturing and services will be key pivots on this new economy. So my distinguished gathering, members of the private sector, we are ready to work with you. We are ready to partner with you. We are ready to unleash development like you have never seen before. Important in all of this is a healthy population. Not only staying safe during this pandemic, but being able to create universal health care across our country. That is why we are currently doing a comprehensive assessment of our healthcare system. And the aim of that assessment is to fix our healthcare system. The healthcare system is broken, it is not working, and we will be fixing it. It has received great setbacks over the last 5 years. And we have to fix it. And the private sector must play a role in helping us to fix this. I believe in open and frank dialogue. I believe in targeted programs and results-driven agenda. You have elected a government that has to deliver, and you will see the results. I embrace the private sector that must deliver, and we're looking forward for the results. Thank you very much, and God bless you.